The newly formed Community Education Commission has released a Detroit Parents Guide to Schools. The book includes information on all of Detroit's public and charter K-12 schools, such as enrollment timelines, after-school programs, and transportation options. The commissioners are volunteers who were appointed by Detroit Mayor Mike Duggan. Joining me now is the chair of the Community Education Commission, Monique Marks. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So there's an incredible amount of information in this book about all of the schools that exist in our city charter and public. The first question I have is, how did you get all of this and put it into a book? We have been waiting for something like this for years in the city of Detroit.
Well, I must say this, Stephen, it was a collective effort.
Yeah.
It was something very necessary and something that our parents need to make informed decisions on where they want to, first of all, live in the city, and then where they want to send their children. So it's 197 schools, again, both public and charter, and it also gives so much more information to parents. Like, for instance, what time does school open in the morning? Right. That's important, because if you have to be at work at a certain time, you need to know
when you gotta get your kid to school.
What time? And this school over here may have a later start time.
Sure.
So those kind of things. Uniforms, if the kids have to wear uniforms, and what activities do they have? If you have kids that you know love sports, then you want to find a school that offer sports to your kids. So this guide is chock full of information.
It is.
And it's available to the public.
Yeah. Talk a little more about what the Education Commission is up to outside of this report. This is sort of, I think, an offshoot, I guess, of the reorganization of the public school system and the renewed interest in making sure that both students and parents have what they need to go to school and be successful.
Well, let me start by saying this. If we're going to have this amazing city, we need amazing schools, and we need amazing young children, right? Yeah. So you can't have an amazing city without looking at our students, and because who's going to take our place one day, Stephen? Someone's going to be sitting in your chair, right?
Some young person out there
is and so we want to educate them well. So we thought that in-school time is important, but out-of-school time is just as important. Yeah. So as the commission, we sat down, we thought about it, and we said, what can we do to help families be successful in this? So transportation is the #1 thing that is plaguing our city, as you know, with all things. So we develop a goal line. That's what we call it, Get On and Learn. And so it's a free bus line that takes the kids from, and this is a pilot, so we're only doing it with 10 schools in the northwest area of Detroit. And they go around and they pick up the kids and they transport the kids, get this, you're going to be excited, to after-school programs.
Rec centers.
A rec center. And this one is Northwest Activity Center. And we also have technology to back it up. So this commission has thought of everything. So parents want to know, did my kid get on the bus? Yes, they did, because they swiped on and we sent them a text. And then when they get to Northwest Activity Center, they swipe again, and the parent gets a text letting them know that their kid has safely arrived at Northwest Activity Center, so that they can have all these wonderful activities in their out-of-school time. Yeah,
and that kind of support, those kind of support activities for the core function of the school district, which is, you know, between 8 and 3 or whatever it is, to make sure that kids are educated. That's the kind of thing that we've always been missing here in Detroit. Even when I feel like we were getting the school day right, or more right than we get it now, we've not been really great at making sure that parents have the support that they need to get their kids to school, to give them other opportunities to do things after school. It seems like maybe that's starting to fill in around this new school district.
Absolutely. Imagine parents having a full day and they have to take their lunch hour at 3 o'clock, or whatever time their kid get out of school, and make the mad dash across town to get their kids safely someplace and then back. Well, this gives them the opportunity to relax and say, oh, I got a text, I know my kid is on the bus. I could relax, I know my kid is at Northwest Activity Center, and that they're getting all these wonderful activities. Like, we've made sure we thought of a lot of things that kids don't necessarily get in school, like gymnastics, financial literacy, swimming, basketball. So they'll have all these activities to keep them entertained after school until their parents can pick them up.
Yeah. Back to the guide here. This is intended to help parents make choices about what schools work for their kids and for them. And it sort of reminds me that that choice is a word we use a lot, and when we talk about education in Detroit, sometimes in favorable terms, sometimes in unfavorable terms. But one of the things that we've always been missing is the idea that every choice that parents make should be an informed choice, that it should be a choice based on knowledge and fact rather than impression or rumor or anything like that. And it seems to me that this sort of slides right into the gap that exists between those two spaces, right? As opposed to having parents guess at what school is best for their kids, they can really know what is going on in that building, what it's like, what, as you point out, what time it starts, all of these things before they make that choice.
Absolutely. So the guide is to give parents information, and that's one of the other fundamental reasons why the commission was commissioned.
Yeah, right.
Because we want to make sure that parents know what's going on in their city. They know what choices they have. Mm-hmm. So in addition to us finding resources to give additional things like the bus loop mm-hmm. and the after-school programming, we also want to get all the information into the parents' hand so they can make informed decisions about their children.
We're still in the early stages of this new district and seeing some of the things that are coming online. How optimistic are you about what is going to happen with education here in the city over the next couple of years? And how long do you think it'll be before we are no longer saying this is our biggest problem in Detroit?
Well, I'm very, very, very optimistic. Yeah. And not just because I'm the chair, but because the people that I sit on the commission with, mm-hmm. we are all fed up.
Yeah.
We're all frustrated. Yeah. And we're tired of new initiatives and letting our families down and letting our children down. Yeah. So we've all committed to taking this all the way to the top and making sure that every child in our city receives a quality education, not just by getting them the information, by working as advocates, by working with both the mayor's office, who has been amazing with, he's pushing this harder than anyone, because you can't retain citizens if you can't have good schools.
It's not a decent school.
If it's not a decent school. So I'm very optimistic because of the people that has come to the table and because of how well received the guide is. Mm-hmm. And just the families calling me saying, thank you. Yeah. Thank you for hearing our voice. Thank you for making us part of the decision-making process and asking us what we need mm-hmm. and what we want, as opposed to us always telling parents what they need. We want the parents to tell us what they need and how we can help them achieve that goal. Yeah,
and I would imagine that you'll do this each year in the future, and then maybe it'll be a little easier. I would imagine that at first, maybe some of the schools were a little skeptical about giving you information about what they're doing, right? They're not used to being asked that question.
Absolutely, absolutely. The principals were all like,
"Why do you want?
What are you going to do with this information?
Right. What are you going to do?"
Right. So we told them, "Listen, this is you and your shining star. Tell us what you do very well at your school, so that the community knows that you're doing all these amazing things that nobody knows about. And then also, this is an opportunity for where you fall short. We can have resources and we can help you go to the next level to be successful, and that all the kids in your school are successful as well."
Okay, well, congratulations on the report, and thanks very much for being here.
Well, thank you for having me. You have an awesome day.
Yeah, you too.
All right.